Welcome back to Carib 21, wherever in the world you're watching this video from. In today's video, I'd like to talk about the Jamaican national ice hockey team. Yes, Jamaica, no snow, no problem. I'd also like to talk about a Trinidadian legend that most Trinidadian would not have heard about, and this legend also contributed to the national sports of Canada, which is ice hockey. So, let's talk about it. Yes, so let's talk about this Jamaican national ice hockey team. And the video that I'm going to be reacting today with this story is coming out of Canada, and it's coming from CTV Canada, talking about the Jamaican national ice hockey team.
Members of the Jamaican national men's hockey team are preparing to defend their title as Challenger Series champions. Players say they hope to bring the heat their country is known for to the ice.
We don't want to be cast in the shadow of, oh, Jamaica as an ice hockey team. No, we're hockey players, we're Jamaican, we come to play the game.
The team is composed of men aged 19 to 30. Most play high-level hockey in North America and Europe. While none of the players actually live in Jamaica, they're all of Jamaican descent. Forward Brenton Williams Augustus Carter's late father was born and raised in Kingston. He says he's proud to wear the green, yellow, and black jersey.
Every time I put on my jersey, it just something in my soul. It just feels right. Everything seems like it's finally coming together, and it just means the world to me.
The Jamaican Olympic Ice Hockey Federation was created in 2011 to build the sport on the Caribbean island. Federation President Don Anderson says there are about 85 Jamaicans registered with the program.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, if you talk ice hockey in Jamaica, people would say ice hockey, you know.
The sport still has a long way to go. There are no rinks in Jamaica, and the team practices just once before tournaments.
We never see it as really an obstacle. That's just something that makes us fire up even more. I mean, because we don't get that opportunity to practice all year, we have to come out and step on the gas pedal with 100 miles per hour.
Since 2019, Jamaica has won 21 games and lost 8.
It's cool to be playing, but we want to win and keep kind of moving up with the IHF and getting the ratings and the respects and the credibility.
Anderson says the end goal is to send a team to the Winter Olympics.
We know it's a very high-hanging fruit, but, you know, that has never stopped us from doing anything as Jamaicans, all right? So the theory is if you can qualify to play, to compete in the Winter Olympics in bobsled, you can do it in ice hockey.
The Federation is working to expand its hockey program with this team leading the way. The Jamaican team is one of 4 non-hockey nations taking part in the tournament, along with Puerto Rico, Greece, and Lebanon. Olivia O'Malley, CTV News, Pierrefonds.
Yes, so every time I have a conversation with anyone about the Jamaican national ice hockey team, I always get the same reaction, like, but Jamaica is tropical, it doesn't snow. Why does Jamaica have a ice hockey team? And people go as far as, you know, saying, like, Jamaicans, like, oh, you guys are enough. You're involved in everything, like it's not snowing. Why would you go out of your way to have a national ice hockey team? It makes absolutely no sense. But then my response is always, that is why Jamaica is so different. That is why, despite the size of the island, the size of the population, that the culture is one of the most powerful culture in the world. Not just because of Bob Marley music, and we have seen sports over the years, and we have done the unthinkable. And this is compared to the Jamaican bobsled team that entered the Winter Olympics in 1988.
Jamaica, no people from Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. No people say them know them can't believe. Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. We have the one Reef and the one Junior, you brother and the man Tanka. The passes of Jamaican sprinters. Respect to the man Herb Blitzer.
All right, gentlemen.
Respect.
Let's go.
We now come to the second chance for the 4 intrepid men from Jamaica. What do they have to do, John?
In reality, Al, I don't think the Jamaicans have any chance of winning a medal.
Dear God, just let it be better than yesterday.
Ready? Ready. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's Bob
faster than the Swiss. Boy, that's a real big difference from yesterday.
Well, this is an absolute shock in the making. Yesterday, they were falling down almost at the start. Now they slide in smoothly. Yesterday, their heads were bobbing everywhere. Today, they're almost in unison. Can this really be happening?
Well, what a different line through the Omega. Looking possessed here. It's not the same team we saw yesterday.
Where did these guys come from?
We do the unthinkable, and I guess it pays off. What we're doing is paying off because we see how powerful the Jamaican culture is across the world. And I remember that Cool Runnings movie. That Cool Runnings movie was such an iconic movie back in the days, watching that Cool Runnings movie until they even developed a Cool Runnings theme park in Jamaica. So the Jamaican culture is very, very big, and it's just what I think it's just what Jamaicans do. We like to rise to the occasion. We like to take on things, being in spaces that we're not even supposed to be in, but we just enter those spaces anyway. Up next, let's talk about a Trinidadian legend that I think most Trinidadians have no idea exists. And this Trinidadian legend we're talking about is Henry Williams. Henry Williams was a lawyer living in Canada that was one of the founders of the National Colored Hockey League in Canada. And just about 20 years after hockey was developed or invented in Canada, this man from Trinidad and Tobago, a lawyer from Trinidad and Tobago, was one of the four people that decided to start a National Black Hockey League in Canada. And it took Canada by storm. And that league lasted for about 30 years. So, and a lot of the moves that you see in hockey today came out of that National Colored League. So this report is coming from a website called Royal Black Elite. And this is just a little bit more information about the Canada National Black Hockey League and the founder, one of the founder from Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Henry Williams.
What did they do? They had four really smart black men came together and they came up with the Colored Hockey League. And, you know, the league was in play for like 25, almost 30 years. So this is a great story, again, often hidden in history. Now, there was James Borden, and then there was James Robinson Johnson, who was a Canadian lawyer and a community leader. He was pow-powed by his brother-in-law, and he passed at only 38 years old. There are always these stories that, you know, is kind of sprinkled throughout these elite black stories. James A.R. Kinney, and he was an accountant and community minister. He was also the first superintendent for the Nova Scotia Home for Colored Children. Then there was Henry Sylvester Williams, and he was a Trinidadian lawyer, and he was an activist, and he was believed to be one of the earliest founders of the Pan-African movement. He held his first Pan-African conference in London in 1900 at Westminster Town Hall. So these are the elite black men that came together and founded the Colored Hockey League of the Maritimes. It was also called CHL, and it was founded in 1894. Now, the league featured teams from across Canada's maritime provinces, a region in eastern Canada consisting of 3 provinces: New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. Shout out to Canada. I hope I gave those names some respect. Now, reportedly, the first game was played on February the 27th, 1895, at the Dartmouth County Rink, and the game ended 1-1. Now, the teams were made up pretty much of the members that were from the churches. So when they first began, you know, they didn't have that many members, but by the end, they had 400 members, 12 teams, so they really grew over the years. The first game had no nets, and curling stones were used as posts. Now, I don't know what that means, but if you play hockey, I bet you know what that means. Now, some of the teams included the Halifax Stanleys and the Halifax Eurekas, and they were founded by Henry Sylvester Williams. And Brother James Borden, his team was the Dartmouth Jubilees. And the whole hockey league really was started with the original, something called the Original Six. Those teams included the Africaville Seasides, the Truro Victorias, the Charlottetown, the West End Rangers, and even the Amherst Royals. So they had like 6 teams that began the league and they began to grow it from there. The Colored Hockey League predated the Black Baseball League. It was revolutionary in its time and in the way in which the game was played. There were approximately 12 teams with 400 hockey players at the league's greatest, pinnacle. And with the official rule book being the Bible, how could a young black man go wrong? Can you imagine? They're saying this is the Bible is what we're gonna use for the rules of how we're gonna play this game, but it must have worked because, like I said, they grew it to what it was. And so we know that they were not growing these men just to play hockey, but they were also growing them to be men. So some of the league's players are etched in history because of their exceptional play. Like one player, his name was Henry Braces Franklin, and he was an ice cutter by trade, but he was known as the person who created the butterfly move, which I'm showing it here. So if you're a hockey player, do you do that move? I guess only the goalies do that one. Reportedly, Eddie Martin was the first player to use a slap shot. That's a powerful high-speed shot. And so he was with the Halifax Eureka in 1906. Now, the league even had a championship after about a 3-month regular season that ran from January to early March. The Halifax Stanleys won the first championship, and then the Eurekas won the next 5.
So this video today is more than just sports. This video today is a perfect example of how people from the Caribbean are contribution worldwide, not only in the Caribbean, but in North America, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa. You'll find Caribbean nationals creating waves anywhere in the world that they go. And those are just some of the videos I like to highlight about our contribution on the world stage. So guys, sound off in the comment section and let me know what you thought about these 2 stories, the Jamaican national ice hockey team and about Henry Williams. If you're from Trinidad and Tobago, have you heard of this name before? So sound off in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.